Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss the chapter 1, challenges of nation building. We were already on this and we had completed some some topics from the chapter. In this, we have already discussed number one, tryst with the destiny. We got independence on the midnight of 15th August 1947. The important goals of the government of India at the time of independence, which were promised with the countrymen. Then the challenges we had gone through, process of partition we have already discussed, and then we discussed about the consequences of the partition. Okay. Now, after all these, we will start the new topic, the integration of the princely states. So, the British expansion in India was characterized by the two approaches. Number one, policy of annexation. Number two, policy of indirect rule, where British assumed paramountcy over the princely states but conceded to them sovereignty and internal self-government to some extent. Paramountcy referred to some form of control over their internal affairs by the princely states. You could see here, we have mentioned here, paramountcy referred to some form of control over their internal affairs by the princely states. And immediately after independence, there were almost 565 princely states all over India. Many of them willingly joined Indian Union, but some of them refused to join. Who refused among them were Travancore, Hyderabad, Kashmir, Manipur, and even Bhopal had been there. Okay, so we could see in the map also. This is the map. Now all of you could imagine if suppose we we would have not been able to convince Hyderabad to merge with that of India and to Junagadh. This is Junagadh. This is the Travancore. This is here number 3. This is the Travancore. And this is the Manipur. This is the Manipur, the northeast belt. And we have already discussed that some of the part of Bengal had gone already with Pakistan, with the dominion of Pakistan, and some of the parts of Punjab had also gone with that of the West Pakistan. And Kashmir, still the negotiations were going on Kashmir. And Bhopal had also been there. Bhopal had been the largest province in the central provinces. Bhopal occupied the largest part in India. We'll discuss about all these one by one. Okay. Kashmir will discuss in the later chapters. We want to discuss Kashmir here, but we'll discuss rest of the states over here. How were they convinced to merge, to join Dominion of India? So we come on the next. So what were the problems in integration, and what approach was adopted by the government of India? So the problems were Travancore, Nizam of Hyderabad, Nawab of Bhopal remained independent, and thus setback for the democracy was that they were running the rule in a non-democratic manner, and rulers did not want to grant rights to their people, to their population. So now the problem was for the government of India how to convince all these states to merge with that of India, or how to convince them to be the part of the dominion of India. And who should be given the responsibility? Who should be given such a responsible task? Who could do this in a very diplomatic manner even? So, having made his mark in the Kheda and Bardoli Satyagraha, during which he earned the title of Sardar 1946. I hope all of you would be getting to me, to whom I am referring to. Obviously, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, had already become one of the most popular leader of the freedom struggle. So he was given the formidable task of integrating the princely states as India's first deputy prime minister and home ministers. Now, the rulers of princely states did not want to integrate into independent India. Bhopal, Travancore, Hyderabad had announced that they did not intend to join either the dominion. So first of all, the government worked on the approaches. Government worked the approaches first. First of all, government find out which are the princely states who wanted to be the part of Indian dominion willingly, who wanted to join Indian Union willingly. Secondly, government worked out. Government was prepared to be flexible in giving autonomy to some regions to accommodate plurality and adopt a flexible approach. Government has decided and government was mentally prepared because already Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had committed to the people that will work out it would be the goal of a country to establish the democratic setup. So the government was prepared to be flexible in giving autonomy. Government committed to the state that all maximum state, all the states would be free to run the administration of the state as per their own wish. The central government will not intervene into their affairs unnecessarily. Okay, and in such a manner, they will accommodate plurality and they will adopt a flexible approaches with that of the princely states. Third task was integration and consolidation of the territorial boundaries of the nation. So in the backdrop of partition, which brought into focus the contest over demarcation of territory, the integration and the consolidation of the territorial boundaries of the nation had assumed the supreme importance. We have already discussed this point as we showed you that if Hyderabad had not been convinced to join India, so what would had been the map of our country? You can see this. And now here here Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel produced the two key documents. I just write it here so that you would be getting, produced two key documents. Number one was instrument of accession. Instrument of accession. Instrument of accession by which the rulers of princely states agreed to the accession of his kingdom to the independent India automatically. If any of the princely states had signed on the instrument of accession, it means the rulers of those princely states agreed to the accession of his kingdom to the to the independent India. Second key document was the standstill agreement. Standstill agreement. What was this? Standstill agreement meant some of the princely states wanted to have some time, needed some time to think over the merger with that of the independent India. And it confirmed the continuance of the pre-existing agreements and administrative practices. Okay, that they needed the time And after the time gets over, they will confirm to the government of India, either we would like to merge with India or not. It was known as the standstill agreement. The vast majority of the states signed the instrument of accession. A few, however, simply delayed the signing of the instrument of accession. I hope the things are clear to you all. After this, we come on the next, Hyderabad. Hyderabad has been given in the NCERT. We have been given the two cases mainly in NCERT. This is Hyderabad and Manipur. But we would like to discuss about some of the states. Number one, before we go to Hyderabad, I would like to tell you about Bhopal also. Bhopal. The Nawab of Bhopal was Nawab Hamidullah. Bhopal's ruler was Nawab Hamidullah. All of you must know Nawab Hamidullah. He signed the instrument of accession, and Bhopal was the state in the central province of India. Next we come Junagadh. We'll see all these in brief. Junagadh's ruler was Mahabat Khan. Mahabat Khan. He was having no common border with Pakistan, but still chose to accede to Pakistan. The government pointed out that the state was 80% Hindu and called for a referendum to decide the question of accession. On 26 October, the Nawab and his family fled. On November 7, Junagadh's court invited the government of India to take over the state's administration, and the government of India agreed upon. A plebiscite was conducted in February 1948. So here in 1948, a plebiscite was conducted. Plebiscite. I'm just writing it in short. Plebiscite. Conducted. And by this plebiscite, in February 1948, the things went into the favor of accession to India. And in such a manner, Junagadh had been merged with that of India. It happened in February 1948. In February 1948. Okay. So I hope the things are clear. Now we move towards Hyderabad. Hyderabad was a landlocked state, as we have already seen in the map also. Again, I just show you. This is Hyderabad. This is, you could see. This is Hyderabad. This was the landlocked state, and its ruler was Nizam Osman Ali Khan. Now we come back on Hyderabad again. Go there. The ruler, here I've written in short Nizam, but his full name was basically, this is the ruler of Hyderabad. I write it here. Ruler of Hyderabad was Nizam Osman Ali Khan. Ali Khan was the ruler of Hyderabad. He decided to remain independent and stand on an equal footing to India and Pakistan. Nizam also did not follow the democratic order in the state. He entered into the standstill agreement with India in November 1947 for a year. Here we could see he entered into what was called the standstill agreement with India in November 1947 for a year while negotiations with the Indian government were going on. In the meantime, the people of Hyderabad stood against Nizam, mainly the peasantry and women in Telangana region in particular, was the victim of Nizam's oppressive rule and rose against him. The Nizam responded by unleashing a paramilitary force known as Razakars on the people. Razakars was his personal army. He maintained his own military. Nizam of Hyderabad, he was the world's richest person, and he maintained his own army under the title of Razakars. Due to intensifying activities of the Razakars, on 13th September 1948, here we could say, here only we have written September 1948. Just keep remember, it was on 13th September 1948. The Indian army was sent in Hyderabad under the Operation Polo. The government, the operation which took place, this was the Operation Polo. I write it here. Under Operation Polo. Operation Polo. On the ground to maintain law and order in the country. Though the troops met little resistance by Razakars, and between 13th and 18th September, India took the complete control of the state. Though the operation led to massive communal violence, finally Nizam surrendered and led to the Hyderabad accession to India. So, like this, Hyderabad was merged with that of India. Now, next we'll discuss Manipur. Next is Manipur. This is what happened in Manipur. A few days before independence, the Maharaja of Manipur, Bodha Chandra Singh, signed the instrument of accession with the Indian government on the assurance that the internal autonomy of Manipur would be maintained. Government of India had committed to Maharaja of Manipur that will maintain the internal autonomy of your state. The government of India succeeded in pressurizing the Maharaja, and here this is, he signed the instrument of accession, and he was assured on what assurance? That his internal autonomy of Manipur would be maintained by the government of India. Under the pressure of public opinion, the Maharaja held elections in Manipur in June 1948. And Manipur became the first part to hold an election based on universal adult franchisee. But in the Legislative Assembly of Manipur, there were sharp differences over the question of merger of Manipur with India. While the state Congress wanted the merger, but other political parties were opposed to this. The government of India succeeded in pressurizing the Maharaja into signing a merger agreement in September 1949. This is in September 1949, without consulting the popularly elected Legislative Assembly of Manipur. So this caused a lot of anger and resentment in Manipur, the repercussions of which are still being felt. Next, we are going to discuss now we'll talk on reorganization of the states.